Hello students and welcome to the next session in this video series. Today we will be focusing on mathematics. Now I have picked up 5 questions from different chapters today. One surface area, second linear equations and the third is polynomials. So 5 questions for today. Instructions remain the same. When I share the questions now, you will pause the video there. You will take your time, that is 5, 7, 10, 15 minutes depending on your speed. You will solve the questions first and then look at the solutions in the remaining part of the video. So I'm sharing the questions list now. Here you go on the screen. You may pause the video here and then you can start with the solutions. Very well. So I'm assuming now you have attempted the questions. Let's go on to the solutions. First question on the screen. A sphere and a right circular cylinder of the same radius have equal volume. So clearly a case of volumes that we will apply here. First of all, by what percentage does the diameter of the cylinder exceed its height? Now let's see, first break down the question. First, look at the first statement. A sphere and a right circular cylinder both have the same radius and have equal volumes. So let's compare the volumes then. If they have equal volumes, what is the volume of a sphere? 4 by 3 pi r cube. And if it is mentioned that a sphere and the cylinder both have equal volumes, that means the volume of the cylinder is pi r square h. If they have the same radius, you may notice I'm using the same variable for both of them, that is r here and r here as well. Yeah. So let's cut whatever we can simplify. R square goes away with r square. We will left with only one single r on the left hand side. Pi and pi can be simplified. They can also be cancelled. Now we have a relation here that height of the cylinder is 4 by 3 times the radius of the sphere, or it is the radius of the cylinder also, because the radius of the sphere and the radius of the cylinder and the sphere both are same. So we have established one useful relation that we will use now in the remaining part of the question, that is height is 4 by 3 times the radius. Now let's see what are have we asked, by what percentage, that means class 8 going back in time. Comparing quantities, remember percentage increase and percentage decrease, the formula that we can apply. By what percentage does the diameter of the cylinder exceed its height? So now we know the height, right? Now what will be the diameter of the cylinder? As simply 2r, because radius is r, so diameter obviously will be 2r. Now we want to calculate that by how much percentage does the diameter of this cylinder, so this is 2r, exceed the height, and height is given to be 4r by 3. So good that we have the relation in terms of r, that means we have a common variable in this case. Now how do we calculate percentage increase, percentage decrease? Remember the formula from class 8. Percentage increase is how much? The new value minus the original value upon the original value, that is the base value, multiplied by 100. Let's put in this formula and put in the values. What is the new value? Basically what we are asked to calculate here, what percentage does the diameter exceed the height? So we'll take the new value as the diameter, which is 2 times r, minus original value, let's say the height, which is 4r by 3, and then divided by the original value, which is 4r by 3, 4 by 3 times r, and we will multiply this by 100. Correct? So if you simplify the numerator, you have to take LCM obviously, and your LCM will be 3. So let's put 2r by 1. LCM becomes 3. 3 gets multiplied with 2, that becomes 6r. Correct? So 3 times 2r becomes 6r. 6r by 3 minus 4r by 3. That makes it how much? 2r by 3. So I'm deleting this. That leaves you with 2r by 3. Whole divided by, we have 4r by 3 multiplied by 100. So again, a concept that we have discussed time and again. 3 gets multiplied with 2r and this 3 gets multiplied with 4r. That means these 3 and this 3, they both will cancel out each other. R and R will cancel out each other. That leaves us with 200 upon 4, which is 50%. So how much does the diameter exceed the height? That means it exceeds by a value which is 50%. So a mix of surface area volumes from ninth and comparing quantities from 8th. So previous concepts not to be forgotten, but similarly the new concepts that you learn in ninth, obviously you will have to apply. Next concept, again surface area volumes. A shopkeeper has one spherical laddu of radius 5 centimeter. So assume we have one spherical laddu and that has a radius 5 centimeter. Now, with the same amount of material, now if we're talking about material, that means we are talking about volume. Everyone, that should be very, very clear in the head. How many laddus of radius 2.5 centimeter can be made? So you are basically converting a bigger laddu into some smaller laddus. Let's say 1, 2, 3. We don't know how many because we are asked how many laddus can be made. This is radius 2.5 centimeter. A very important concept here once again, if we're talking about volume, volume will remain the same. So let's say whatever is the volume of the bigger laddu will be equivalent, exactly equal to the volume of the smaller laddus, but we don't know how many. So let's form the equation. Volume of the bigger laddu, which is the sphere, will be volume of all smaller laddus. So can we say it will be volume of one laddu multiplied by the number of laddus? Right? Because if you want to calculate the entire volume of the smaller laddus, it will be exactly equal to volume of one laddu multiplied by n. So basic fundamental principle of counting in mathematics. Let's put in the values. Volume of bigger laddu is how much? 4 by 3 pi r cube. Now this r is separate, correct? So I will assume is at capital R, correct? So the variable should be different. Is equal to volume of one small laddu, which is 4 by 3 pi small r cube multiplied by n. N is what? N is the number of laddus. So we can simplify some things directly. 4 and 4 goes away, 3 and 3 goes away, pi and pi goes away. But radius cube and radius cube will not cancel because they are different values. Now let's put in these values. This becomes 5 into 5 into 5 radius cube. Can we bring this down to the LHS? This becomes small r cube, which is 2.5 multiplied by 2.5 multiplied by 2.5. This will be directly equal to n, which is the number of laddus. So let's simplify this. This becomes 2. This also becomes 2. And this also becomes 2. That means n key value is directly 2 into 2 into 2, which is 8. That means we can make 8 smaller laddus of radius 2.5 centimeter from a bigger laddu, which was radius 5 centimeter. A direct case of converting one bigger volume into smaller volumes. I'm assuming this is very clear to you. Next question on the screen. Linear equations now. Let's see. Auto rickshaw fare in a city is charged rupees 10 for the first kilometer. So I am sure all of you are aware that yes, this is how fare calculations also happen. I'm sure you would have taken an Uber or an Ola or an auto rickshaw sometime in your lives, and this is how calculations happen. You are charged a fixed charge for some first kilometer or 2 kilometers. It can be 3 kilometers also. So there's a fixed charge which you have to pay irrespective of if you take the auto or not. If you have, let's say, taken a seat inside the auto rickshaw, if you have called the auto rickshaw driver, that means you will have to pay the fixed charge at any cost. That means the total fare will be inclusive of two different charges. One is the fixed charge and one is the variable charge. Fixed charge you have to pay irrespective of you travel or not, and variable charge depends on the obviously the number of kilometers you travel. So let's see here. What is the question? Auto rickshaw fare in a city is charged rupees 10 for the first kilometer. That means your fixed charge is given, which is 10 rupees for the first kilometer. That's it. So this you will be charged for the first kilometer. Now, what is a variable charge? Variable charge is 4 rupees for subsequent distance. So 4 rupees for the distance you traveled after the first kilometer, correct? So for the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth kilometer, for each kilometer you travel after the first kilometer, you will be charged 4 rupees. Write the linear equation to express this statement. So again, total fare, let's assume total fare to be y. And if we are forming the equation of total fare, this will be equal to the total fare on the RHS also. Look at the equation, fixed charge first. So 10 rupees for the first kilometer. So we will do 10 multiplied by 1 because you are traveling only 1 kilometer with a fixed charge. But now, what about the variable charge? So variable charge is 4 rupees. But 4 rupees will be charged for the subsequent distance. Now, let's assume the subsequent distance to be x kilometers. So not the subsequent distance. So assume the total distance basically. So you can assume the total distance to be x kilometers. Now what about how do we multiply this? Think if you are already being charged for the first kilometer already, that charge has already happened. Will you be charged for that 1 kilometer again? No, you will not. Why? Because you've already paid for that first kilometer. So now if you are traveling total distance as x kilometers, you will just pay for the remaining x minus 1 kilometers because 1 kilometer you have already paid. So let's say 4 rupees for each subsequent kilometer. And how many kilometers do you travel? Now you will pay for x minus 1 and not x. That is the most important step here to learn. Right? So fixed charge already paid, variable depends on how much distance you traveled, but you will not pay for that kilometer again. So you can simplify this equation, y equals to 10 plus 4x minus 4. Arrange it on the left and right hand side, you will get the general equation, which is in the form of ax plus by plus c equals to 0. So you can keep 4x here, you can bring y to the RHS, and that's it. On the LHS, you will be left with 0. You will get the general equation, linear equation for this. I'm assuming this is crystal clear. Next question on this. Polynomials, use of identities. If x plus y is given to be 12, xy is given to be 27, find the value of this. Okay, whatever is given. Whatever we have to find out, let's look at that. X cube plus y cube. So let's say x cube plus y cube is something that we need to find. Multiple ways we can think of applying a cube plus b cube also. That identity can also be applied. We can also think of applying x plus y ka whole cube also. Because in that identity also we will get x cube plus y cube. So let's look at an easier method first. X plus y ka whole cube. What is this? A plus b ka whole cube? X cube plus y cube plus 3xy into x plus y. This is what the identity says very clearly, right? A plus b ka whole cube becomes a cube plus b cube plus 3ab times a plus b. Now think clearly, look at the question, what is given, what is not given, and just put in the values. So that IQ development now has to happen by looking at what is given. X plus y is given. So x plus y की value can be put on the left hand side. 12 put कर देंगे, this becomes 12 का cube equals to x cube plus y cube. This is something that we need to find. So let's keep it as it is because this is what we will find out. 3 times xy, that means 3 times xy की values given. Look at the question, 27. So 3 into 27 we can put. Let's put that in brackets. Times x plus y. X plus y is also given 12. As simple as that. All the values very clearly given. We just put in the values. Now can we simplify 3 into 27 into 12? This is one single term. So we will multiply it together. Take that to the LHS and subtract it from 12 cube. This is 1728. Subtract both the values. You will get the final answer, which is x cube plus y cube. I'm assuming this was a very simple case. Only a single identity is being applied in the entire question. Now you have to tell me the final answer. Once you solve it, you will have to share the PDFs with me, and this is how I will track your answers. Very well, over to the last question of the day, which is fifth, again, use of polynomials identities. 8p cube plus 12 by 5p square plus 6p by 25 plus 1 upon 125. Now, four terms in this. If we have to factorize this, we have to factorize this polynomial. So let's look at which identity can be applied. We are given 8p cube. That means cube identities are getting applied. We are also given 1 by 125, which is also a cube. That means a clear connection is that yes, cubic identities are getting applied. And we have two more terms. So let's look at cubic identities first of all. What is a plus b ka whole cube? A plus b whole cube is how much? A cube plus b cube. Now I'm using the different version of this identity because we are given four terms. So 3a square b plus 3ab square. Correct? This is what the identity is. A plus b whole cube is a cube plus b cube plus 3a square b plus 3ab square. So I'm not using the previous version that I used in the previous question. I'm using a different version of this identity just by opening up the brackets. Now, four terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, exactly match with these four terms. That means, yes, we can apply this identity and we have two cubic terms also. Now, let's simplify this. 8p cube, that becomes twice p ka whole cube. Think, if we take the cube root of 8p cube, 8 ka cube root is 2, p cube ka cube root is p. Let's arrange this. 1 by 125 can be written as 1 by 5 ka whole cube. Now we have two terms simultaneously. We have got a cube also, we've got b cube also. A cube plus b cube. Now, what about the other two terms? Let's factorize them. 3a square b. So first term is 3 a square b. What is a? Is 2p in the brackets. So a का square क्या हो जाएगा? 2p whole square. Multiplied by b, b is how much? 1 by 5. Now if you open this bracket, you will see that it is directly equal to 12p square upon 5. So that matches with the answer also. 4p square into 3, 12p square upon 5. And what about the final term? 3ab square, 3 times a. A is how much? 2p into b ka square. B ka square is 1 by 5 ka whole square. That becomes 1 upon 20. Correct? So if you see, this also matches with the third term in the factorization. 6p upon 25. So that is exactly the same. That means we are on the right track. Now, a cube plus b cube plus 3a square b plus 3ab square. What is this identity? That is equal to a plus b whole cube. That is something that we just saw. So this becomes a plus b whole cube. What is the value of a? A is 2p. What is the value of b? B is 1 by 5. That becomes a plus b ka. But this is a case of factorization. So we will have to write it thrice. So 2p plus 1 by 5. You will not leave this here. 2p plus 1 by 5 multiplied by 2p plus 1 by 5. We'll have to separate the brackets because it's not in the factorized form as of now. So we have to write in the simplified factorized form while giving the final answer. So I'm assuming you now are very clear with the solutions for the day. So we will stop here and we will now meet in the next class. Till then, thank you very much for watching.